you, and welcome everyone. I do see a few familiar faces, which is awesome. Thanks for joining me. Yay for the South Sound of Washington. Here we are. That's where my home is, in Tacoma. So I wanted to get started. I'm going to run through some photos just to really bring you around inspiration, because we can't walk through a garden together. So we're going to do this a little bit virtually, and I want to share with you different ways that I love to use herbs and inspire you. I think we'll go there. And so starting off, I really do love gardens that give back. And to me, herbs are some of the most generous givers of any plant you can grow. They give us so much. And that's the kind of inspiration I want to walk you through over the next little bit of time that we have together. So when we talk about, sorry, there we go, a little bit finger fast, but here's what I want us to do first is you're gonna have to kind of put this in your head a little bit, since we're not in a garden together, but imagine yourself, especially this time of year, with lavender blooming and a lot of fragrant herbs really, really going. And so you're gonna take a walk and just really breathe in really deep. I mean, if I have some herbs around me, so I really get this luxury of smelling this natural aroma, and it's that aroma that we're chasing after, because that's where all of the flavor and the healing and all of those things are. It's the essence of the plant escaping in the heat of the day. And so imagine that walkthrough, and I hope you get a chance to do that later or sometime this weekend, where maybe you've got some herbs, and just go in and really smell them and allow them to kind of grab you and take you in and let you kind of really see what's going on and smell what's going on. And when we talk about this generous category of herbs, we talk about a lot of things: landscape design, butterfly attraction, edible flowers. Look at this list. There just isn't a whole lot of plants you can have in your garden that do all of this. And that's what the category of herbs give you, is all of this. And so when we talk about walking through a garden, and a lot of people will always ask me, well, what herbs should I grow? And my answer always is grow what you love. If you only have space on the windowsill for an aloe vera, you're an herb gardener. That's what I look at. You can be an herb gardener with one plant. You can grow a lot of things. And there's a lot of different categories you can see on the slide. If you love to heal with herbs, there's a little mini list for you: aromatherapy, teas, culinary. And just as a note, if you're taking notes, or if you're wondering, as you see this slideshow, this list and recipes are on a PDF that you're going to get emailed to you. So you don't have to quickly write any of this down. Just let me walk you through and inspire you with words and pictures, and then you'll get the follow-up that has this list, so you can kind of pick and choose what are those things you want to do with the plants in your garden. How do you want to heal and nurture and take care of yourself? Or maybe it's just flavor you're chasing after, all of those things. And so pick what you love. If you don't have room for everything, grow your favorite things. That's really my challenge in this, because, and I pick on sage a lot, but it's like, if you don't like sage that much and you only use it in turkey dressing, then don't grow it, because it takes a lot of space. If you don't have the room, grow something that you love. And so pick and choose, and pick what you're going to nurture yourself with. That's the best way I look at how I do my herbs. And what is your method? Is it in pottery? Is it in the ground? Is it tucked in the garden? You could just see some real inspiration all the way through. And this, the plants that you see in a container in this is actually a tease of my next book coming out. It is container gardening with herbs, and so you'll see lots of ideas of that. But this makes you kind of accessible. So you could take, like, let's say that middle photo, stick that next to the barbecue outside, and then snip and grill as you go. You've got fresh herbs right at hand, so you can move them where you want them, so to speak. So, you know, figure out what it's going to take to get these things into your life. And then the next step for me is to make that connection with the herbs that you're growing. They go from garden to your food, to your body, to your healing, all of those things. And so I want to run you through a few ideas to make the connection. And one of the things that was really important in making this connection is that it's easy, right? Because I don't want us to sit in the basement with boiling beakers and eye of newt or whatever we want to call it. This is stuff that you could just go out in the garden, grab and do. And so this list is also a little more tips on harvesting and drying is also on that handout that you're going to get. But you really need to know a few things to use them. Are you using them fresh or dried? Do you need leaves like mint or basil? Do you need the stems, which is like chives, which you're probably familiar with? Or the flowers like lavender, chamomile, calendula, some of those things that you're going to need to know so you pick the right parts that have the best flavor or the best healing powers that you need. So as we walk through some ideas, here's some real easy ways to start your herb journey. If you're experimenting, or maybe you're doing a lot already, I hope that I maybe tease you with something new. Maybe you didn't know about an herb, or you want to do something a little different. One of the things that I always say in this as well is you're going to know all of these plants. These are not exotic. They're not hard. I hope you're growing them already. And if you're not, then this is your time. So one of the fun ways is tea blending. How easy is this? This tea cup that you see with the chamomile flowers, I just photographed that last week because the chamomile is crazy, but I wanted you to see all of that harvest for one thing, but fresh chamomile tea, it's the flower that you're chasing after. And I dry a lot of it. So you see some dried plants, and what you can do is dry them and mix them. And there's recipes on the handout with blending. What's ideas to blend? Maybe it's just straight chamomile. Maybe it's straight rose petals. You can see mixes with lavender and rose petals and chamomile and different ways that what you can do is basically you're steeping all of the wonderful, healing, flavorful essence into water so that you can drink it. So you really put it in a form that's usable to you. And that's what tea blending will do. Also, oh, my finger's a little quick here. Let me see. There we go. So summer sipping, this one is super easy and you have to do this. So if you've got a peppermint plant or maybe some lemon verbena, right now it's pretty abundant in the garden. So get a gallon glass jar and make sure it's nice and clean, of course, and fill it half full with fresh herbs. Just pack in about halfway and then fill it the rest of the way with water, with cold, fresh water, and then put this in your fridge overnight. And so what you have the next morning is this infused flavorful water that you can use. Throw it in a water bottle, run out the door. You've got this infusion of all this flavor. And what you see in the photos, I've thrown in cucumbers. You can throw in some blueberries, some pineapple, lots of different ideas that you can throw in. And all of this will infuse into the water. And it's super easy. You don't have to do anything particular. If you want to bubble it up, because sparkling water is kind of a fun thing to do right now, then use some sparkling water to infuse it in rather than just fresh water. And so then you can create a bubbling kind of herbal brew that is very easy. What you're going to do also is after you drink the water, then take all of those herbs and veggies or fruits that you've infused and put those in the blender, make a smoothie out of them. So then you can use it afterwards and you'll have some more extra bonus flavor to go with that. Super easy. Let's do this. It's summer and we need to kind of refresh, and it doesn't have all the caffeine and sugars and things that we really don't need. And this is just a really tight shot. Don't forget to make some ice cubes. And so you take a leaf or a flower. You could see the blue flower, and this is borage. And then there is some peppermint. And so you put those in an ice cube tray. Each tray gets a leaf or two or a flower or two. Fill it full of water and freeze it. So then when you have your summer sipping water, you can throw ice cubes in it and you get a little extra bonus of this infusion of plants. So as the ice is melting, so is that flavor. It's melting right into your water, or you could put this in hot tea to cool it down. Lots of different ideas. So make lots of ice cubes and keep them in the freezer. It's great to even have basil cubes. So in the middle of winter, when you're doing a saute, just throw that into a sauce. It'll melt down and all that basil flavor will come into the sauce mix. Super easy to do. Love to do this. And capturing flavor. So one of the things, this is really based on my book, A Taste for Herbs. And one of the flavor captures, the best word you could remember on this is infusion. So are you infusing an herb into vinegar, butter, mustard, mayonnaise, honey, whatever you want to do? What you're doing is taking that herb and getting it into this pourable, spreadable form. And then you've captured all of the essence of the leaves and the essential oils and the flavor. And you can see this rosemary smoked salt. There's a salt recipe on your handout. And what I do is I buy smoked salt. I don't smoke it myself. I don't have time for that. But I buy a really good quality smoked salt, and then I infuse dried rosemary into it. So basically you're mixing salt with rosemary, and then you can use that to season meats or roast, barbecue. Imagine doing like an oregano salt or whatever kind of pungent, powerful herb into salt. And then if you think about the sweeter herbs like lavender, you could do that into sugar. And so how do you infuse and capture? So those are good ways to get some flavor into your life. And then as we go into healing, which there's no mystery here, just understand what the herb is and what it does, and then you can get it into a form where it becomes a healer. So what you see here is a dried peppermint. So you have peppermint and you dry it. You add sea salt and baking soda and you create this mix. So this is a foot bath. So this is you in the chair this summer after a stressful day, and put a tub of water and about a couple of tablespoons of this mix in there, and just unplug. Don't have the phone, just get a nice book to read and soak your feet for about 15 minutes. What the peppermint is it's actually, it brings blood to the surface of the skin, so it'll stimulate your feet and they'll feel so much better. And then of course, lavender sea scrub. You can use this to clean dry skin. Lavender is super healing. Both of these recipes are on your handout. So if you're asking that question already, I'm going to make sure you have the means to do these goodies for sure. And then here's that aloe vera. Like I said, if you have one aloe vera on your windowsill, you're an herb gardener. And inside of that aloe vera leaf is this clear gel, which is absolute healing magic. So if you have a burn or a cut or a scrape, literally all you do is open the leaf and use it. That is how easy, no processing, nothing hard to do. You don't have to do anything exotic to make it work. It's just powerful medicine straight out of the leaf. This cucumber poultice is also on your handout, and it's basically smushed up cucumber and aloe vera, and you can put this on burn. So if you're out this next week and you didn't put enough sunscreen on, which shame on you, but just in case, and you get some sunburn, make this wonderful poultice, and it helps to pull the burn out. The cucumber is very cooling, and it helps to pull the heat off while the aloe vera is going in and really giving you some healing moments for sure. And then herbal mist, this is an easy one to do. Just infuse, again, like we talked about infusing in water, you're infusing herbs to use as a floral water. And so then you can see all these ways to use it. That's on your handout. Spray mist linens and sheets and cool yourself down a little bit. Lots of different ideas to do that with. And then just a real quick wrap up. And then I want to show you a really quick mini spa moment. So these are teasers for you to remember how you find me, herbloversgarden.com. This is my new book. I'm so excited to share it. I can't wait for it to come out. We're in just the real throes of final editing, and then it's on its way to you. So I hope that you enjoy it as much as I do. And then A Taste for Herbs and Herb Lover Spa is just really those recipes. A taste is capturing flavor, and the Herb Lover Spa book is healing and nurturing, which we could certainly use more of that right now. And so I'm going to go back to video here so you can see me on the screen, and hopefully you can see me nice and big here. Let me pull this up. Whoops. Am I there? Are you guys seeing me? I'm not hearing anybody, so I'm going to go with it here. Just making sure that
yes, we are seeing you. This is Joni.
Okay, because I can't see you. My screen did something weird, and I'm not even going to talk about technology. I'm going to relax.
I can't see anything.
Are we missing some people?
I think, no, you're definitely there.
Okay, good. I'm going to keep going.
No, I have no picture.
I hope that you can see this. Oh, I see you. Perfect. Thank you so much. So what I want to show you, I went into my garden this morning and I've got this massive bundle of rosemary. I want to send aromatherapy to you. I wish this was show and smell time. I've got this big batch of lavender. The bees were just crazy for me this morning when I got them, woke up after the night. And then I've got some peppermint, a big bunch of peppermint, super energizing. So what I want you to do is take about 3 or 4 stems of this rosemary, a nice big handful of lavender. So you can kind of see, I'm going to make a little mini bundle here. And then I want to take some peppermint. So you can see I've got this, and I just wish you could smell this. So what you're going to do is bind it up with a rubber band, and then I want you to take this bundle and go hang it in your shower. So if you hang it off the shower head or nearby, as soon as you're in the shower, the heat from the shower and the steam will release all of the essence, and it is an amazing pick-me-up. It'll really kick you into gear, and it'll wake you up. And this is just a super easy thing to do. You don't even have to process. Just go pick herbs and hang them in the bath. And you can let them kind of surround your space and give yourself this kind of adult timeout, because I think sometimes we need those. We need a timeout, and your herbs can give you that for sure. So I'm going to pass it over to Joni. Are we there?
Yes, we are. We have a couple of questions. Okay, first of all, to your point about hanging the rosemary and mint, that is such a great, I can't wait to do that from my garden.
I know.
How long, the question is, how long can you leave those in your shower?
So they're really good for a couple of showers, maybe even up to 3, and just leave them in there as long as they look and smell good. When they start to not smell so good, then you can just go ahead and stick them in the compost pile or hang them to dry somewhere, and then you can strip all the leaves off. But this is just an amazing, fresh kind of time out for you, for sure.
I love that idea. I'm going to go home and do that as soon as possible.
Yeah.
The other question was, where can people, Sue, get good quality herbs online?
So are you talking for growing, or like you want to purchase them because you're not growing?
Well, why don't you talk about both?
So if you're online, I think some of my favorite resources, knowing I'm getting a good quality, one of them is Mountain Rose Herbs down in Oregon. They have a lot of dry products and some mixes and teas and things like that, but they're an amazing company that has a really great organic responsibility, so you know that you're getting good stuff. And as far as plants, I would certainly go local on this. Go to the farmer's market, wear your mask like we're supposed to, but go to the farmer's market and search out growers that are growing them organically. And that's your best source, because online you can buy them, but to me, I love visually seeing a nice healthy plant, for sure.
You know, that's such a great idea. I mean, the farmers markets right now are so fabulous. You do have to wear a mask, of course, but to buy local is so important. And actually, it's a topic that we'll be talking about more later this month with Rebel 11. Another person asked Sue about what is the best way to dry basil?
So basil doesn't dry well, because when it dries, it loses all of its flavor, which is really unfortunate. So I don't really dry basil. I would rather freeze it into ice cubes or into a paste form, which basically you kind of put it in your food processor and get it to a kind of a pasty form, and then add a little bit of olive oil to that. And you can freeze those. To me, trying to preserve them in their fresh moment is really the best, because unfortunately it loses a lot of its goodness when it dries.
You know, that's so funny. I just bought a basil plant and I was wondering the same thing. So I've got to plant that when I get home. So one of the things, I was watching some of your videos the other day, Sue, can you talk to us about things that you can put in a salad? One that was a surprise to me was the leaves of nasturtiums. So
yeah.
Could you add a little flavor to that?
Yeah, so when you're tossing together a salad, you've just got some lettuce. I always take a walk out into my herb garden. And of course, you can use the leaves and the flowers of nasturtium. They're very peppery and very flavorful. And I'm always snipping at chives, and even the chive flowers, the little purple flower, you can pull the petals off and use that in a salad. And then I like a lot of Italian flat parsley in a salad. To me, it's just as much the lettuce mix, because it just adds this really nice, clean, fresh flavor and aroma to a salad. And so it's really kind of take a walk and taste a leaf. And if it's like, that's pretty good, I'm throwing that in my salad. That's how you start learning all this stuff.
Well, you can guarantee that you know what I'll be doing very soon.
Right.
What's the best way to dry lavender? And she says also, when you see little boxes, how much is enough in little boxes? What is the smallest amount that is useful? So that's 2 questions.
So the first one, I'm going to ask you to repeat the second one. The first one on drying lavender. So I've got a nice big bundle right here, and I try not to do more than just, I don't know if you can kind of see what my finger will go around. That's really the biggest you want so that this dries well. And I literally hang this upside down. I have one of those laundry dowel racks that, you know, pops up, and I hang them all over. There was actually a photo in the presentation with that. And I let those dry. One thing you can do is all the flowers will shed off. And so if you take a brown paper bag and you put the bag over so that all the flowers are inside the bag, and then when they shed off and dry, they'll drop into the bottom of the bag. And then when this is dry, you'll know when it's nice and crispy dry, and then they're ready to preserve. So just hanging them to dry is the best way. And so tell me what the other question was.
Well, the other question I'm a little confused about too, but what I think for a planter, what is the smallest amount you can use for a planter?
So like the size of the pot, is that what we're thinking?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so I always look at that. I think the smallest you want to go with an annual like basil or something like that is about a 6 or 8 inch pot. And then you need to jump up from there, especially aggressive herbs like mint and oregano, which you do want in a container so they don't take over your garden. You're looking at about a 12, 18 inch, and I'm talking about, you know, the depth and the width of the top. To me, a starter point is about 12 to 18 inches, and then you're working up from there based on what you're growing.
Okay. And then do herbs like to be bunched together or grown separately?
Depends on the herb. So it really does. I think mint and oregano and lemon balm, which are very aggressive, they deserve their own container. They're very pushy and they'll really take over other plants. But if you want to mix a little garden together, it's basil and it's chives and super easy. A little bit of parsley is good, so they don't overtake so aggressively. So if the herb is aggressive, they definitely must have their own home.
And Sharon, Sue has some beautiful videos on her website, and I just went and watched one about window boxes, and I was just amazed about how much was in there. So I would highly recommend to all of you to look at Sue's website and watch her videos. They're just terrific. I learned so much.
Yeah,
and
every Saturday I do a quick video in my herb garden to tease you. So follow those. They're on Instagram and Facebook and stuff like that.
That's terrific. And this is a question I'm also interested in too, is what's your tip on keeping critters from eating, say, like basil and some of the, you know, lighter plants like that?
Yeah, the real tender herbs, they tend to kind of, and basil is kind of notorious for getting whitefly. And to me, the best thing that you can do is really keep a watch. I mean, you are the watchman on these. And as soon as you see bugs or damage or something's kind of fluttering up as you kind of go pick something, then my first plan of attack is I go rinse it off. I get a good shot of water, undersides of the leaves, tops, clean up everything, make sure the soil surface doesn't have algae or some gunk growing on it, and kind of give it a good cleanup. And then watch it again for about a week. And if bugs are coming back and they're just kind of being a real obnoxious problem, then I go after an organic soap. So like a Safer is a brand name type of organic soap, and then give them a good cleanup. And it's really just trying to disrupt the population and their habitat. And a lot of times a good shot of water, especially on basil, will do that.
Okay, one last question for aphids. My mom always used water and like a Tabasco. Have you ever heard about that, or cayenne?
I haven't, there's a lot of concoctions out there. I can say I've not ever used Tabasco. A lot of times, you know, it's some people use garlic, and so some of those are deterrents, but whether they're actually population control, which is your goal, it's really keeping the plant healthy and clean, and never ever let a plant like not have enough water or nutrients, because if it's weak, just like if we're getting sick, we're going to get everything. That's what a plant will do. If it's not being cared for, it'll get bugs, and then you got to take charge of that.
Sue, this has been so helpful and such a joyous morning. I can't wait to go get in my garden. I really can't. So thank you for joining us, and to everyone who joined us today. Sue's book comes out in December, right?
It does, the first week in December, just in time for Christmas.
and that's now, you can pre-order on Amazon, is that correct?
Absolutely, it is on Amazon, and you can also find it on my website, which will link you to where you can get it. So pre-orders are great, and then you'll get your first dibs on it when it comes out, and it's a beauty. I was running through it last night, and I was so excited to see the pages.
Well, rest assured, I'm going to order that right away. So thank you so much. Just a couple of things from some Rebel 11 notes this morning. Monica and I are doing a year-long intention setting on the solstice and equinox starting in December. So we'd love for you to join us on that. There's more information on the website. In the next couple of weeks, we continue the summer of self-love with everything from breathing to gut health. We have the owner of the fermentation farm in LA talking about the benefits of fermentation and also how to keep your gut healthy. We have an amazing woman talking about how to make your home better during our staycation this year. So which I look around my home all the time thinking, how can I make it better? We have sound healing, spend like it matters, which going back to, you know, buying local is so important. And then I want to encourage you to join us on Tuesday for the co-author of a book called How to Talk to the Other Side. And she's going to give us tips on that entry point of how do you talk and open up conversation. I'm really excited about it and hope you'll join us. In the meantime, have a lovely, lovely Friday, and we'll see you on Sunday for yoga, and then Pilates is back next week. Thank you for being a Rebel 11er, and we'll see you soon. We're going to stay on for a couple more minutes if you have any questions, so thank you for joining us. Sue, thank you so much. It's so fun to work with you again. And
thank you.
So great to see you.
This was fun. Like I said, I wish everybody could smell my office right now. It's pretty fun.
I do too. You're making me so jealous.
I know, but it's the joy part, right? So we just need to grow, and then we'll have all the too.
So I'm just seeing if there's any other questions here. Everybody just says thank you. Somebody said something about Cisco here. Everyone loves Cisco.
Yeah.
Somebody did a haiku. Oh, it's very long, but I will send that to you.
Oh, thank you. That's awesome.
Yeah, she does an amazing job with that. Let's see.
Oh, sweet, sweet.
Okay, I think we're good, Sue. So thank you. Unless anybody else has a question, we will sign off for today.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you so much for everybody, and please grow herbs and nurture yourself.
Thank you, Sue. Thanks for joining us. Take care.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye, Sue.